Hello, happy gardeners. Welcome back to Sticky Ditch Nursery. We've got Marla on camera again. Say hello, Marla.
Hello.
I looked at my feet again then. I don't know why I do it. What I'd like to show you today is the reason why we leave a gap at the top of our pot, like this, when we're potting up a plant. We don't fill it right to the top. I'm going to demonstrate this with a couple of jam jars that are full of some dry compost. And so this one here, I filled right to the top. Marla, show the people, it's filled right to the top. And this one here, we've got a gap at the top. Now, obviously, this one is going to take on more water than that one when we fill them up. But I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you fill that one up or fill that one up. So when you're potting up things or planting stuff out, you've always got to remember to leave that gap between the top of the pot and the top of the compost. And this is why. Right, let's hope this works. Second time trying this. Okay, so I'm going to water that like you would if it was your plant. So there we go, got a bit of water in there. And I'm going to water that one as if it was your plant. And there we go there. Now, as you can see, the water is slipping down the sides of this one, and it looks like it's not quite got to the bottom there, but it looks like it's not done too badly. And this one here, obviously, it's gone right down to the bottom, and all our compost is looking completely soaked. But we don't really know what's going on inside of the pot, so we're going to tip them out. So this one here, that looks like it hasn't got to the bottom here, and this is the important thing, ladies and gentlemen. You want the water to get to the roots of the plant. You don't want to just be watering the top bit like this. So this is why we leave a gap at the top. So if I tip this out, as you can see, we have got quite wet around the edges, but in the middle, look how dry that is. Completely dry. And you'd have looked at that thinking that that pot had been watered and it was wet on top, but in the middle, we've got completely dry soil like this, which is no good for the plant. Now this one here, which we just gave a good soaking and had the gap at the top, I'll tip that out, and even this one, look at that, the bottom of it got quite wet. Obviously you'd have drainage holes in these if they were normal, but even this one, the top bit still remained dry, like that. So we would have needed another watering with good drainage holes. And even though the top of your pot gets wet, it doesn't necessarily mean that the bottom of it is wet where you want the water to feed the roots. And Marla reckons that holes in the bottom make a difference, don't you?
Yeah.
You do. So what we're going to do now is, we've got this full of dry compost, and I'm going to fill this up like I would normally. This is about, like a lot of pots have got this little line on them. Can you see that line on the camera, Marla?
Yeah.
Yeah? A lot of pots have got this little line on them, and I use it as a gauge to, you know, where to fill your soil to. So we're going to fill that one up like this, as if I was watering it normally, like that. And we're going to let that soak through, and as you can see, it's coming out the bottom, which is lovely. We've got the drainage holes. That means that the drainage is working well. This is why we have the gritty sand in our mix. This is I'm just using a seedling mix here, so it's topsoil. Look at one of my seedling mix videos. It's a lot easier. So there we are. That's sort of going through like that. We're going to wait here for a bit longer.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
What are you having for your tea tonight?
I don't know what you having for your tea.
I don't know. Katie, what are we having for tea tonight? She doesn't know either. No one knows. It's going to be a mystery.
I reckon it's either the holes or it's the shape of the jar, which means there's no. You'd have to put holes in the bottom of a jar to find out.
We'll have to do some physics on it, really. Anyway, that looks like that's soaked in quite well. I haven't got too much dripping out of the bottom, so I'm going to tip it out and see how much of that actually remained dry. So there we go. And as you can see, look. Yeah, you're right, Marla. No, it is the edges. See, the middle bit here, at the bottom there, has sort of remained dry. We're pretty wet around the edges, but for the amount of water I put on that, you wouldn't expect there to be any dry bits in there. Anyway, there we go, experiment over. This has been Robbie Phoenix down at Stinky Ditch Nursery with Marla on camera, just having a little look at what actually goes on when you water a plant and why it's important to leave that gap at the top. Thank you for watching.